Q&A. We are live again every Monday through Friday. Well, most Monday through Fridays, maybe not all, but most of them. Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern, where we get to talk about coffee and questions and answers. Maybe answers, good Lord, I'm feeling like I'm all like discombobulated. Questions and answers about coffee that you may have. And today, we're continuing our fellow Ode Gen 2 saga with this baby. This is, of course, the Ode Fellow Gen 2, which I received back in September, and it conked out about 2 weeks ago. They sent me a new one. We got it on Friday. We opened up yesterday, and now we're going to get back into this baby. And we're gonna see what we can see. How does it come apart? What are the components? I put everything back with it, back in back directions. I should probably read this. And see, I got another brush. So let's open it up. How well do we package it? Package it pretty well. Let's get the grinder out. Okay, so we're gonna get the grinder out, but we don't need a couple components. We don't need the lid. Good morning, Maku. We don't need the cup. We're going to put all that aside. Put this aside. Push all this over here. Oh, it's kind of heavy. Dewan, good morning to you. So let's adjust the camera so you can see. Naomi, how are you? Popping in this morning. I'm going to miss this live, but I'll watch it later. All right, excellent, excellent. We're glad to see you here. So here it is. Now, remember when we tried this the last time, you could take this face off by, I think, by pulling it from the bottom. Is that what they said in the video? I should have brought my laptop out here. Oh, there you go. Pop it off from the bottom. And the faceplate comes off. Now we can access our... How did we do that? We unscrewed those, right? All right, let's unscrew those things. We need some tools. Get my tool bag. How did we do this last time? Already, I've forgotten what we've done in the past. Let's just bring this camera here so that you can see it better. I'm pretty sure, did we take, this doesn't come off, right? This. Now I don't remember. Okay, let's just, I think we take these out, these screws. Okay, one of the problems that I have, I took this workbench and I made these little dog holes. And the problem with having dog holes is that little pieces such as this can fall into it. Which make it so we're gonna get our little metal tray here. Okay. I no longer remember what screws we took out the last time. I don't know if it's these that are in the 12, 6, 3, and 9 positions, or maybe it should have been the ones in the other positions. Oh, this is not a good thing. This does not bode well. My Klein screwdrivers are not magnetic. If you like nice tools, I think the line of Klein tools are very good. I mostly I have them mostly because I was doing a lot of electrical work for a while. Well, I do the electrical work at the shop, so this is the one thing when you're like me and you're kind of cheap. You end up doing a lot of your own work. So you learn a little bit of the trades. Okay, so we got 4 screws out. Now this slides, oh, there we go. So this slides out with those 4 screws. And we have our centerpiece here. Let's take that out as well. Whoops. Try to keep those together. So that piece comes out here. This is the adjuster for the size of your grind. And I guess these are the 4 that come out to remove the plate. For the most part, I like the idea of buying nice quality tools. And this is true in most anything, whether you're in coffee, whatever you're doing, because, you know, the nice quality tools, they cost more, but I think you get better value. Wow, that was very fortuitous. You get better value because they last a long time. I've been using these Klein tools for many, many years, and I've only recently started buying Wera and Weha screwdrivers, not necessarily to replace the Kleins, just to augment them, and just because I wanted to try something a little bit different. The one thing that's nice about the Klein tools are American, the Weha and the Wera are German. Okay, so that plate comes off. This is the plate that holds in the burrs. Now there's this pin, because that pin, this burr plate into in place. So these are the burrs. These are what, 60-some millimeter burrs, 60-something? So there's a burr plate here. This is rotating because this pin attaches to this shaft, right? There's a shaft here. The pin holds this burr to the shaft, and that shaft is connected to the motor, well, I'm presuming, and that is what spins. So this spins. He says a festool has PB Swiss. You know, actually, I'm not familiar with PB Swiss. I'm going to have to look that up. And would a German have Swiss tools, or would a German have German tools? So this is an auger, right? This piece here is what drives the beans from the hopper into the burr set, right? So you can kind of see in here, there is a channel or a hole where it's all into from the hopper. So, don't lose the spring. Now that reminds me, we've got this hopper. Let's remove that hopper first. We're gonna need some Allen keys. Now, I just mentioned to you about having really nice quality tools, and I'm about to show you. I use Pittsburgh T-handle Allen's hex key set because at the time that I bought this, I really wanted to have ball joints at the bottom. Like these have ball joints. My old Craftsman from the 80s, T-handle does not have ball joints, and I really wanted ball joints. And at the time that I was buying these, I didn't want to spend a lot of money, so I bought these. But these, I can't complain because that's a little bit 2 millimeters, a little bit too small. Let's go to 2.5 millimeter. But these Pittsburghs are, you know, they're not. I guess maybe 2 millimeter is all right. I felt like it wasn't turning. No, that's too small. 2 millimeter. So let's go. These must not be metric. These must be imperial. Let's go to 5/64. Yeah, that's right. 5/64. You can see the screws are there. There's one here. There's one in each of the 4 corners. So I want to show you the auger. So I wanted to pull these out first. And I would have thought that these would have been, since in China, I thought they would have been, we call it, I thought they would have been a metric. Now, one thing to keep in mind, I can just see it now. There are 2 different sizes of screws. It would be, if you're reassembling, it would be very difficult to mess them up because There are longer screws in the back because it's a greater slope here. Almost. Whereas, come on. It's not free yet. I'm not going to take those screws. I'm just going to leave them sitting in the hopper because they'll kind of just live there. Put that away. Now we can get into the meat of this grinder. We can see that this is the shaft that holds, all the magic. It's all metal, cast metal. So your beans Burr set. You can see there that there is now that auger actually just pulls the coffee forward this way. This way, is that right? Can you see? Am I doing this correctly? Yeah, this way. And it goes into the burr set where it gets ground and then ejects down from the bottom chute there. Right? Okay. That's essentially the basic operation of this grinder. Let's take that burr set out. The burrs are very pretty. Let's put this back in here. Put your tools away so that they don't get in your way. It's a little bit cold this morning. One of the things about having it in your garage is that here in the Midwest, the Mid-Atlantic, is that it gets cold, and maybe it's not so cold outside, but once the slab, your concrete slab of the garage turns cold, man, it is difficult. Okay, so on the back here, where the motor is, I don't really know how to take this apart. We're just taking it apart. It looks like the same screw head, so maybe 5/64. Yep. If there are technicians at Fellow that happen to watch this, they're probably looking at me like, what the hell are you doing, dude? Oh, one thing, make sure you're not plugged in if you're working on your grinder. That can lead to dire consequences, unhappy results, mangled extremities, shocking results. Luckily, I have a heater in here. I should also put a disclaimer that I am not a certified technician for Fellow products. I have no idea what we're doing here. Okay, there's our motor. There's the motor. Looks like some kind of control box on the back. And how does it all hold in? It looks like there's a tab right there that we can wedge out. I wonder if the feet are holding screws. Sometimes in builds, the feet will cover. Oh, I bet there are stuff covering. I bet those are covering screws because that doesn't want to come out. Get a pick to see if we can pick this out. It could just be a sticker, which I hate that. But, these aren't really... Is there a screw there? Looks like there is. There is, see? This is the multi-tool. This is, I don't know how many, 5-in-1, whatever it is. I like these. I also have a bunch of the ones that are very, that are just individuals. Okay. Now I guess I gotta pull all of these feet out. The feet are really nice. I really like the feet of these Odes because they're quite grippy. Well, I kind of, I like them and I don't like them because when they're really grippy, they kind of are harder to glide across your counters. And I like to glide. All right, let me put this here. Oh, how do we do this? Do it like this. Just because I don't want to leave it on top of the motor. Okay. I'm sure there's some kind of disclaimer here that says you should not use are serviceable. Which is probably good advice. Okay, now we've got all that screws undone. This should pry off now. Or maybe it won't. All right, there's something holding it back. What could it be? Did I lose you for a moment? Yeah, what's going on? I'm with Naomi. I can't watch now, but I'll be back soon. All right, we'll see you then soon. Glad you checked in. The reason I'm taking this off the base is I want to see if there's anything really coming through the shaft here to connect the motor to. Oh yeah, look at that. There's a whole world of electronics down here. Look at that. So we got a power switch. We've got magnets. So this is just a magnet. There's nothing, that's not connected to anything, just a magnet. And then we've got some kind of electronics down here. I wonder if we could just give it some power. Let me get some power to it. All right, now, bringing the stinger here. I should probably not sit on this metal chair while I do this part. Okay, plug that. Well, here's the thing. I am not an electrician or electrical engineer by any measure, so I don't really even know what I would look to try to test to see what we could do to fix it. So let's continue with the disassembly. We'll take this piece out, whatever this is. Oh wow, there's a whole host of electronics. So we've got all the electronics are here, and they're on a little sled that hides inside the vertical whatever, and then that's connected to these big. There's a couple big bolts underneath that you can see. So I'm presuming. So let's see. How do I get you to see this? Okay, so this is I guess the brains of the machine. This is where all the magic happens. All the magic happens here, and I would guess that something here is what failed, and I'm also going to guess that it's something in this board that failed. Can we see anything that looks untoward, burnt out, or anything? I mean, it just stopped running. All right, we'll just push this back in. I mean, honestly, it could be any of these things. And it could be a small component that has just failed that could operate again. Those go in these pegs there, okay. I think that goes around here. If you guys have any ideas of what I should be looking for, let me know. Because I really don't know what I'm looking at. So those bolts look like they're attached to this sled. So I guess we would have to take, well, yeah, that makes sense. Maybe we should just take all that out. Oh, that screw did not screw in, okay. Ugh, gosh, that was so difficult. Okay, so we got this here. Now we're going to take these. These must be some power leads. Black to black, red to red. That's fairly easy to reassemble. This, the cabling, the power, main power comes in here on these three legs. Red, green, black, right? Or white, green, black. Ugh. Just got to remember the orientation. Okay, just do a screen capture so that I can have a reference for that later. So we will. So that's positive. Or no, that's the neutral. This is the hot. Shoot, I can't get these off. These are nice and tight. So good for vibration. Like these are nice and tight so that as the grinder grinds and vibrates, it's difficult for these to come. These are unlikely to come out because of that. Then we've got, these must be the leads. I'm presuming because this goes up here. Yeah, these are the leads to the motor. So this is what turns the motor on. Or this is what provides power to the motor. And then this little control, there's a controller here. This control cable has a clip on it. Okay, that's released. That must do some kind of controlling to that. Now, the one thing about this that's a little bit surprising is that we've got this ground and this, I guess these, I don't know what yellow and green is, but maybe these are both grounds. They are actually, looks like they're hardwired to the board. I'm gonna need to get my glasses. Looks like there's a little set screw down in there. That's probably holding the board to the sled. Yeah. So now the sled, the board will come out of the sled. Yeah, so these are soldered to the board, which means I really can't disconnect this completely. This red goes here. My hands are so chubby. This is a power lead to this. So this power lead goes to here or comes from here, but that just goes up there somewhere to do something, and I don't know what that's doing. Okay, so we're not gonna worry about that. This is connected to the power switch. So the power switch is now disconnected. And yeah, that's about as far as I can take it apart without having to desolder these two ground cables. But I'm not seeing anything really that looks like it's, well, I don't know what this is. If you look there next to this, let me just see if I can put this down. There's a little bit of what could be, I don't think this is a melted, I think this might be some kind of glue. I don't know if you can see that so well in the camera, but I'm trying to see where it is in the camera. Yeah, you can, it's in the shadow, but right here there's a little bit of what might be glue or something that melted, but it doesn't look like it melted I mean, it looks melted, or it looks like it could be glue. I don't know. But I'm not really seeing any of this kind of residual stuff anywhere else. And this, I guess maybe this is some kind of resistor or whatever, doesn't seem to have melted down. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. It's a little bit disappointing. It doesn't work. I wonder why it stopped working. If you have ideas on what's going on here, let me know. October 23rd, 2023. So a year ago, and I got it nearly a year after manufactured. I don't know if that really, what that really tells us, you know, how far their lead times are or whatever. I guess we can Busa Busa is asking, do you have a voltage test meter? You know, I should have one somewhere here. Let me have a look. You know, I actually have these nicer Klein ones, but I don't know where they went. I have this Greenlee. Let's see if this might be not working. It might be old. Oh, the zipper doesn't want to open. Shows you how many times I've used this thing. All right, let's see. Oh, it's kind of damaged. Will this work still? Ah, still working. Great. All right, so we do have a... Devin says it's $5 is a fuse issue. If I could tell which is the fuse, I would totally replace it. But unfortunately, I am not a qualified technician. I mean, it could just be a switch. Could be the switch is dead. Busa, if you have any ideas on what I should be testing, how I should be testing it, I would definitely like to know. I'd be willing to try it. I mean, nothing looks like it's fried. I thought there might be some kind of frying or singeing somewhere, but everything looks very clean. Actually, I use this meter mainly just as a voltage tester. That's why I don't really take it off of the clamp. I was hoping it'd be something relatively obvious that could be replaced, but maybe this. Let's have a look at this thing, whatever this might be. This is something that I guess runs from the control board. And it doesn't seem to want to come out. Feels like it's loose. There we go. It's a ROHS Revision A 2019 build. But that just mounts here. It runs from on a cable all the way back. I think it goes to this. Yeah, 3 pins to 3 pins. And that's what runs to this part of the board. I don't know what that does. Maybe it's a temperature sensor? How about if we take the back of the motor off? Now we're just disassembling. We don't really know what we're doing. We're just going at it. No idea, but hopefully someone else could chime in. Thanks, Busa. I appreciate that. Well, we'll just continue on doing foolish stuff. We have a little bit of time. Let me take this board out of the way. We may get to the point where there is no return. Although there is a peg here. I don't know if this plate will even come off after this point. Yeah, that really feels like it's heavily press fitted. Okay, we're not going to worry about that. Uh-oh. See, this is the problem. Whatever I disconnected in that on here has not snugged up again. All right. This went that way. Okay. So we see basically how it works, but honestly, I really don't know. I don't really know, and I really don't know much or anything about electronics. So, yeah, if you have ideas, if you know about electronics, let me know. Craig says, time for circuit tracing. How do I do that, man? Sorry, I'm not a very good electrical engineer. I know how to wire like Romex into a panel and then create circuits, but other than that, that's pretty much the extent of my understanding of. And I just use this to make sure that we're getting the right voltage in the line. So if you can instruct, I will follow. But otherwise, I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe we should put the sled back on. Let's put the sled back on. Now it's time to get that screw into the sled, which is going to be, maybe I should get the different set of tools. Well, unfortunately, while the Kleins are not magnetized, the Weras are. So that will make reassembly a little bit easier. This is the piece that we were just looking at on the other end. That goes here. Now these are our power lines. Uh-oh. Of course, their board is marked in white. The board that is cream colored has white labeling on it. Stylish, but I can't read it. So I'm gonna have to jump out for a moment. I don't know if we stop for a moment, but it's white, black, black, red. Oh, it must be this way. At least I hope that's correct. White, black, black, red is what I saw in the picture, right? So hopefully that will be, well, I guess it'll be all right. I guess. Then we've got our power lines. Red to red, black to black. This goes back into the here. Then the whole sled assembly should slide back in. White, black, black, red. What if it's white, black, black, red? Damn it. One moment while I look at that again. Okay, that's worse. This is correct. This is correct. We should not have any kind of untoward lightning events here due to my shoddy workmanship. We should not have any, at least. We might. There's always that possibility here. Okay. Let's see if we can get this screw to go back in. What I like about these Weras, they have this laser etching. I don't know if you can see that. Let me get out of there so it'll focus, but I don't know if you can see that here. I gotta bring it to my face so that the camera will focus on it. Otherwise, it stays out of focus. But basically, you can kind of see how it looks darker on the tip. There's actually laser etching that's supposed to cause it to grab more forcefully. I must not be putting in the right hole. Yeah, you kind of gotta shoot it in there. Okay, there we go. A little bit tricky, but not terrible. Maybe it's got to sit in completely. That's what it is, okay. That slides in there. That should go like that. we're putting it back together because I really don't know what to do next. Like, I don't really have any practical experience in it. But I thought we'd take it apart and see what there is to see so that you get a good look at the... Actually, what I'm curious about is this magnet. I want to see what this magnet is like. I've been thinking on my workbench here, I used to have this this big steel vise, actually in that corner over there, at the corner right there. It's been there for many, many years, and I've been planning to put it back. But I was thinking maybe I should just put like big rare earth magnets so that I can just drop it on there for temporary use. And then if I really need to torque down on something, the bolt holes are still in there. So I was thinking, oh, maybe I'll put the bolt. Then I just stick the bolts in. And that could do it. All right, let's see here. We're looking here at... I just want to see what the magnets are like. I figure there's a big magnet or something. Oh, it's just a small magnet. I was expecting this huge magnet. Look at that little tiny rare earth magnet. You're like, wah, wah, wah. All right, put that back. Okay, let's put that back. Then we'll put the cover back on. Okay, there we go. Just goes in. Whoops. What's holding it back? It's a little bit, I'm getting resistance here on the side. That's what it is. Got to make sure the cables are nicely tucked away. Oh yeah, there's a little slot here for them to slide into. I'm presuming that these big cables have to tuck in that way. There we go, tuck in there. You will tuck in here. You will tuck down there. Okay, that's good. That's good. Now, this should all fit. Dan says, sorry for my something late to the party. Did fellow send you a replacement? They did. They finally sent me a replacement last Friday, and now we're taking this apart. And Craig says, if it would be so easy to do something like that, I would totally send it to you. But there's something. If you're here in the U.S. and you know about electronics, I will send this to you. Just got to come and do a live stream with me and tell us what happened. What's wrong with it? And better yet, if you get to fix it, you can keep it. I guess we should thank Fellow for not requiring me to send it back, so we can see the inner workings of the Fellow Ode Gen 2. Of course, I'm completely unqualified to really diagnose it, but a little exploration doesn't hurt. I'll put this back together. If you're interested in hearing more of my ridiculous banter, evidently Rahun wants to do a live stream today, so we'll probably do a live stream not too long after I'm finished here. So if you want to hear more banter, look at Hoon's channel for more live streaming. Okay, there that is. Very nice. I guess we don't put the feet back on. The feet stickies are going. I wonder do I need stickies or is it like friction fit? Oh, it's kind of friction fit. Okay, that's not bad. There's a little bit of stickies, right? But for the most part, it's kind of friction. Now we'll see. That is a nice, I do like the feature of that. All right, let's put the back panel back on. Plug it in and see if it works. We should just plug it in. Maybe we've done the magic. No, nothing. All right, nothing. Dead. Still dead. So that we know that this is a dead machine, I'm going to put the fellow case back on, backwards, upside down. I think it'll fit. Or will it fit? Oh, no, it doesn't fit well. Oh, yeah, they've designed it only to fit one way. Oh, smart. Okay, were these the ones that go? Yeah, so these must be the ones that go here. Where's my 5/64? 5/64 is the Allen key here. Screwing multiples at a time. I can fix a Lombrosoco Linea 4 group, but I can't fix this. Those are fairly straightforward. And actually, when it comes to the Lombrosoco, if I have to replace them, if the motherboard has an issue, I just replace the whole motherboard. Much more expeditious than than trying to tear it apart. Okay, so we've got our hopper. Put this back on. I mentioned that we might do a remote live stream also tomorrow, but I'm not sure if we're going to do that. I'm waiting to hear back. Craig's going to laugh at this because I got another deal on a Festool. I got a deal on a Festool TS55 FEQ, one of the newest, the current model. This guy's selling it and had a fairly good price. And I was like, well, I kind of need a saw, track saw, so I don't have to borrow Matt's. Okay, now back to rebuilding our front panel. As you can see, there's the burrs. I'm kind of interested to see, like, how hard is it to take the burrs out? Not hard. That was easy. So if you have the Gen Ode 2 and you want, or thinking about buying one, you want to buy it, try it out, and then you're thinking about getting what? They have the SSP burrs for this as well after. Oh God. It just fell in the little hopper hole. And it fell down the dog hole. That is one of the issues with having a dog hole bench, is that things will fall. Okay, so now that we've released it, oh yeah, it spins off. So will it come out? Or is it magnetized in there? I'm presuming that because it's not, there we go. Oh, I was going to say, I was presuming that because it's not falling out that it must be magnetized, but evidently not. Oh, we've got a lot of dust. Good thing we have a Festool dust extractor. There you are, Anton. Festool. Okay, so nice and clean. So here's our burr. So I read somewhere, or I heard some comments from some people somewhere along the way that were complaining that these burrs are hard to remove. But I mean, of course, this is a fairly new machine, and the burrs were fairly easy to replace. So you take that out. You take this out. I guess I should clean that as well. And like, and so what we're talking about before, so this is attached to this adjuster, right? And so this adjuster, or this adjuster, provides the clicks, and the clicks are, they're actually controlling the separation between the two burrs, right? So the coarser you go, the farther, this is an exaggeration. They're probably only really like that at the very most. And then like this, like it's super, like the amount it actually moves is very minor. Like, but for illustration purposes, when you're doing it actually, you know, so coarser, finer, coarser, finer. And unlike some grinders, I mean, well, I guess not unlike some grinders. I'm just used to grinders that have the front plate, the front burr stationary and the back burr rotational, where this one, it's using this shaft, and there's that pin that sits here, and that is connected to this drive shaft from the motor, and this all spins, right? So this is what spins, right? And that's rotation is what causes the grind, because this other burr is stationary. And then, like I said earlier, this augering system, this screw here acts like an auger, and as the coffee falls, right, it falls in from the hopper here, and this spacing remains. So the coffee is pulled in to the, and what's the rotation on this? I'm guessing the rotation is this way because of the way the teeth look. Coffee falls in, the screws pull it forward, and then it spins this way and ejects it out the port at the bottom. And that's essentially how these grinders work. Now, you do have, let's say like on the, you have these, so this is horizontal burrs, right? They have vertical burrs that work very similar, like on the Mazda Major that I have for espresso grinding. The top collar that you see me adjusting is stationary. That's connected to this burr, and it's stationary. And the burr that's connected to the motor, the bottom burr, is what spins. So it works like this, and it's using centrifugal force, not centripetal, right? Centrifugal force. As it spins, the centrifugal force pushes the coffee out through the port and down into like the hopper. All right, let's reassemble this baby. The tolerances on this grinder seem fairly nice. Like, I'm pleasantly surprised. So just reinstalling it. Capre, I'm your engineer. No, I'm definitely not an engineer. I am like a total hack at this, pretending to know a modicum of knowledge about any of this. See, as you can see, an engineer would not have made these kind of mistakes and would have better technique in attaching these. Oh, these must not be terribly ferrous. garage door is opening for some unknown reason. It's very odd. Oh, son of a gun. You've got to be kidding me. So I put these T-tracks in here to make it easier. Now this is actually quite difficult. Let me see. If I go from above, probably easier. Okay, one thing also here, if you look here, if you're reinstalling the burrs, don't do like I just did or anything. If you look at this, where's the camera? If you look at this one, I don't know if you can see it as well. I'm sorry, I really can't. It's hard for me to look at the screen and show you this angle. But as you can see, the screw is off. That's because I made the mistake. See, Capri, this is why I'm not an engineer, of over-tightening or tightening it just slightly too much. The other screws, because I gotta loosen them up a little bit and then move it around. Ouch, trying not to cut myself on the burrs until the lineup is better, right? So the lineup is much nicer now on this one. So now it'll be easier for me to install or to screw in, to install this screw, to put in, or insert this screw and attach it firmly. For some reason, I think these screws are not terribly ferrous, so the magnetic, it's not very, they don't float, they don't attach to the screwdrivers. I don't know if that's a choice they make because of whatever reason. But I thought that was interesting. It's one of the few screws in this build that are not reactive to the magnetization of the screwdrivers. Okay, so let's see here. What's the next piece? Oh, we're gonna put the outer burrs back with the auger. Slide that back in, and you can see there's a slot, right? There's a slot. I should just pull it in closer so you can see it. There's a slot here. Oh, see, I've already forgotten something. An important piece, a critical piece that we need to have this spring to give it tension to the burr set, right? So that it pops out. Now we also need to put this pin and match it here so that it sits. And now this pin is what drives the plate. Because otherwise the motor would spin and nothing would happen, right? But this pin is what attaches the drive shaft from the motor to the actual burr set and causes it to rotate. Okay, I'll leave that there. What's next? This plate. Now we have this plate here, which is the pressure plate. I'm calling it a pressure plate. I have no idea if that's really. Oh, what fell? Oh God, things are falling out, and I don't know what they are. Okay, so this is this thing here's this little spring detent is what provides tension to this piece here, right? You can see here there's a spring detent. I probably didn't need to take this part off. And though that detent goes into these little holes, which is what provides your click stops. Right? So we'll put that back together first. I guess I didn't need to take that apart. So there's a little big washer and a screw that holds that in place. Now that's all one assembly. Okay, good. It's a little bit with this oiliness. Let's clean that off. I don't remember the orientation. I think it goes this way. But what we're going to be looking for orientation, though, is just these 4 screws, right? We want to make sure these 4 screws get lined up, or it's not sitting terribly deeply. Oh, that's probably because it's coming out of the... So you got to make sure that you push this in here and then add this plate. Otherwise, it starts to come out. Then, so this plate sits fully flush on the housing, right? So now we need these bigger screws. Uh-oh. Good, there's one. Two. I'm just setting them in place. I'm not actually snugging them down yet because I want to have them all, you know, all of them seated before we make it tight. Now, of course, this is only true if you're putting together an operational grinder. If you're putting together an inoperational grinder like this one, well, it kind of doesn't matter because ain't nothing gonna be happen no place. But for good measure, I'm gonna do it right. Now we're gonna put this collar back on. And this does have a little tab so that there's only one way to put it. Of course, you know what? One thing I realized that I don't know if there's a particular orientation to this. Right? Like, actually, maybe there is because this piece doesn't seat all the way up here. And the pin ended up there. So I think the pin is in the wrong orientation. So we'll have to go back and do this again. This, again, Capre, is why I'm not an engineer. All right, one more time. Let's put that there. I think I remember it being on this side. So let's make sure that our peg sits in. Okay, I think that's gonna be right. Son of a gun, really? Fell down the rabbit hole again. Trying to be all fancy with the woodworking setup and it just leads to problems. Some of the smarter guys, woodworkers I've seen that talk about these type of dog hole tables put a tray underneath the table, underneath the surface, so that when things like this happen and little bolts and stuff fall down, it's easier to retrieve. Luckily, I can still access everything beneath the surface, so it's not terrible. It is an inconvenience. At least it would be an inconvenience if I could actually find it. Which I'm having trouble finding at the moment. Especially since it doesn't really have anywhere else to go. Oh, well, there it is. It's actually caught up in one of the holes in the shame of my shoddy workmanship. These are 3/4 inch, double 3/4 inch plywood tops. So when I was drilling out these dog holes, there's a lot of tear out at the bottom. So, you you know, it got caught up in some of the tear out that I didn't quite clear away. Okay, so we're tightening these down. Just gonna make them nice and snug. Again, not so important if the grinder's not inoperable, but just so that it all fits together well. Should be good. Okay, now this should go back. I don't know any idea where this should go. Maybe it should be down here. Can I put it down? Oh no, it does lock off. Like, this will not go past those points. So I wonder, no, I guess because it's all spring loaded wherever. Well, I mean, if I started it here and I turned it versus if I started it here, I don't know. I don't know if that really changes the orientation of the grind setting. I don't know. I don't know. That's good. That's something I'm curious to know myself. Okay, let's put this in here. And a little bit more there. And it's not locking. Why? Oh my goodness. See, just terrible, terrible. Just a hack at this, really. Yeah, see, that's not going back in anymore. Why? What are we missing here? What am I missing here? Is it that they're too short? Are they different lengths? Yeah, that's not even reaching. I'm gonna have to guess that maybe some of these are different lengths. Let me see. If I pull this one out. Are those longer? No. Huh. Okay, that's weird. Maybe this is not the right orientation. Oh no, it has to be because this is facing. Oh, maybe there's something keeping it out. We didn't have this trouble last time we took this apart, at least with the faceplate. Maybe this should be at the bottom. Well, let's see if I put this one in first. I think this should be at the bottom. Now that I'm looking at it, notice here, there's a slot right there next to that screw hole. That is right there. So that should be at the bottom. So yeah, we have to take this apart again. So that detente should be at the bottom of the plate. And that should cause it to go together perfectly correctly. All right, one more time. Third time's a charm. Let's go back here. Psht. Oh no, come out. Yeah, that came out too much. Okay, so the detente needs to go down. There we go. Just got to remember to put the screws in straight. So that's something to remember. If you do work on your burrs, make sure that you put the detent down at the bottom, at the 6 o'clock position of the grinder. And that will make it a little bit easier for you to reassemble. And then this goes here like this. That sits perfectly flush now. Perfect. And I think we'll be having no more issues screwing this together. Yeah, nice. Okay. All right. Good. Then the plate goes back on here. All right, there it is. The fellow Ode Gen 2. We took it apart, got into it, saw what was it about. Thought that maybe we would have some opportunity to find the issue and fix it. Although I'm not up for that challenge. I do not have that level of technical ability, so. Well, anyway, hope that was helpful or insightful. And if you decide that you want to take apart your Gen 2 Ode, this will give you some insight into what you're going to face, how it's going to look. If you have questions, leave them in the comments down below. And yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. And I think I'm going to be joining Hoon on his live stream. So if you want to talk more coffee today, let me know. We will have more, or at least just check out what Hoon's channel says. All right, so hopefully that's a good one. Back in tomorrow with another coffee Q&A, 10 a.m. Eastern. Hope you guys have a great one and see you next time.